This is ESPN Esports. I'm Ardo Cal. The FaZe Clan Valorant Invitational just concluded this past weekend, and there are a lot of positives that came out of it. The first thing I want to mention is that we did a whole separate video because it definitely warranted it for the TSM versus Sentinels rivalry. I break that down in detail in another video that you'll be able to find at youtube.com/ESPN Esports. Let's talk about why this tournament was such a success, and in my opinion, why this really set the blueprint for future tournaments and things that they can glean from the FaZe Valorant Invitational. The first thing is the format was terrific. We saw best of 3 series, we saw a double elimination format in groups, and then we also saw that in the playoff format. And to me, ask any player and they will of course say that is the most fair way to adjudicate a tournament. I'm not so concerned about this tournament result for FaZe Clan. I thought that a player like Raucus, who is a long-time Overwatch League pro, he's been a pro for a very long time, I thought that he really found his footing and reached his final form as the games went along. Whether or not it was a shaky start, it didn't matter. It looked like he improved every single game and the team was more of a cohesive unit despite not getting the tournament result they want. Now you look at a team like 100 Thieves who didn't make it out of groups. Hiko's one of the best clutch players in the game. We all know this. He's one of the best players out there. And you got to wonder what level of frustration Hiko is at right now, because he definitely, with top tier players around him, like imagine him with players like Corey and Tens around him. If you were to make a super team, a dream team per se, Hiko would be one of those players that shined in a situation like that. Let's look more at the tournament structure. So we talked about the group stage and the playoff stage going across multiple days. A couple things that I really liked from the FaZe Invitational was the watch party option. There were players and streamers that had the availability to be able to co-stream to their audiences as well. Myth was a great example of this, and Myth absolutely knocked it out of the park. And not only is this a good idea because then you add that special touch to their own communities, but also that adds to the numbers of how many people are watching the tournament. So when you get to the to the 6 figures and beyond, 160,000 plus watching TSM versus Sentinels, for example, that means something, and that really shows you that perhaps watch parties and co-streaming should absolutely be the future. I know that tournament organizers really have a say in how their tournaments unfold, but I believe that this should be considered as something that they do regularly. Maybe tournament organizers should open it up to other co-streamers to have this sort of partnership in place to be able to co-stream to their communities, and also with their special touch, having them on screen, etc., so that it makes it a more enjoyable experience for those communities while still watching the game. So I thought that that was a great success. The commentary was fantastic. Shout out to DDK and Sean Garris. I thought Sean Garris did a fantastic job in the analyst role in particular. The way that he was using sound bites, he wasn't speaking in long monologues, and also the level of analysis that he brought in. He's somebody that you listen to and you say, I'm learning something here. I feel smarter as a result of listening to what he has to say. In terms of FaZe, I thought the production was terrific. You got to give a shout out to FaZe Clan for the decisions they made. I know that there's people behind the scenes that really pull a lot of effort to put this in together, but also Nerd Street Gamers. They've basically become the production company that are behind many of the top Valorant tournaments early on, and it seems like they're really getting into a groove. And we saw multiple channels. I really appreciated that as well. In terms of the watch parties, on top of that, you saw multiple channels. There was a red zone type thing going on with Nerd Street Gamers at some point, but there was also you really, with the staggered starts, etc., you really didn't miss much. And that was one of the big complaints from previous tournaments, was we're missing some games. We don't want to miss games because we want to watch the group stage, and FaZe Clan did their best to make sure that we weren't doing any of that. So what does this all mean for the Valorant scene overall? Just remember, closed beta seems like a lifetime ago by now, and the game was released in early June, and that's only a couple months. So you got to think that this is fantastic in terms of growth for the Valorant scene itself. We're already seeing a peak of 160,000 viewers for certain matches, especially TSM versus Sentinels. We already have a built-in rivalry in those two teams that are pushing themselves to be better, which means that the competition is going to get better, which means the game is going to get better, and the views are going to get better, and the fans are happy that these two teams genuinely hate each other. And like I said, I made a whole video on TSM versus Sentinels that you can also find on our YouTube channel /ESPN Esports. But then beyond that, that means that the regions are looking at each other as well. EU and NA, already a built-in rivalry. They can't even play each other yet because we're not getting to LAN events. And so we're already getting jaw-jacking back and forth, not only between teams in NA, but now we're seeing it across the pond, and it makes it absolutely incredible for fans. The fans win in this situation because they want to see those rivalries form. They want to see the drama unfold, and that leads to better competition in the maps, in the game, because these teams are striving to be better. They want to back up their words. They don't want to just have hollow, empty, hot air out there in the universe. They want to back up what they're saying. They want to be champions. They want to be able to show that bravado, smack talk beyond after championships. That's when it feels the best, as TSM showed you with Hayes in his championship interview. So the scene, to me, has grown at an incredible rate in the last couple months, and it's only going to get better from here. We're only going to see more orgs enter the scene. You can't look at a tournament like FaZe Clan Valorant Invitational and say this was a failure by any stretch of the imagination. Listen, the only thing that you can really criticize at this point is just getting a better spectator client. It is getting better with every tournament. I don't want to rag on Riot because I think they've done a fantastic job in communication, and also the spectator client has gotten better with every tournament, even if it's minor increments. So for me, I think there were a lot of positives here. I think that Riot should be very happy with what they saw from the FaZe Invitational. I think this set a blueprint for how future tournaments should be, at least that the major S-tier tournaments should be, with major prize money. And really, we're still going to see experimentation. We're going to see more opens. We're going to see more tournament structures. But really, from a top tier level perspective, I think FaZe really set the tone. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of the FaZe Clan Valorant Invitational and what you think of the Valorant scene overall.